guys, and welcome back to the Staunch Talk Show. My name is Princess Mahogo. And thank you so much for joining me. I'm super excited to be here today. I do appreciate all your support that you've been supporting, or giving me rather, in the past couple of episodes and seasons that we've had on the show. So before we get started, I would like to remind everyone who hasn't subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel, like the videos, and please do leave me a comment in the comment section, either regarding the topic that we're currently talking about or anything else that you'd like to talk to me about. Leave it in the comment section. Thank you so much. So today we are going to be talking about a topic that is very close to my heart, something that I'm very passionate about. And I think we need to have these conversations in order to bring about change in society. So the topic that we're going to be talking about today is bullying. So we're just basically trying to understand what bullying is, so that we can do better in terms of trying to prevent it and putting an end to it. Firstly, we have to understand what is bullying before we can get into the types and everything else that is involved in bullying. So bullying is unwanted aggressive behavior that is common amongst children. It can be amongst adults as well, but today we specifically going to be focusing on bullying amongst children. So bullying is unwanted aggressive behavior that is common amongst children or kids. It involves a real or perceived power imbalance. So bullying is violent behavior, if I can put it that way, that is repetitive if nothing is being done about it. So it can continue for a very long time, and it leaves lasting impact on the person who is the bully and the person who is being bullied. How so? So the person who bullies others will not see a need for change or to stop what they are doing if they are not told that what they are doing is wrong and why it is wrong. And also the person who is being bullied, it affects them, especially mentally. It has long-term effects on them, where they will end up needing now psychological help to deal with the effects of being bullied. So in order to be considered bullying, the behavior to be considered bullying, it has to be aggressive, and it must include a power imbalance, which is where kids are being bullied either physically, mentally, like where maybe someone will get access to embarrassing information about this particular person or this particular kid and go around telling other people about that particular embarrassing information. Repetitive, as I mentioned, so it's something that goes on for a while, a repetitive behavior. So let's say this kid is hitting the other kid in school, so it's something that's going to go on a daily basis, if I can put it that way. Bullying includes actions of threats, making threats, spreading rumors, attacking someone physically or verbally, and excluding someone from a group of friends on purpose. So there are types of bullying that are out there. There are three recognized types of bullying. I added the fourth one. I will let you know about it a bit later on. So the first type of bullying is obviously verbal bullying. This is where someone says mean things about the other, which include teasing, name calling, inappropriate sexual comments, threatening to cause harm on someone or to their property or belongings. So for example, in school, the other child would be threatening to break the other's pencils, or school equipment, those types of things. There is social bullying. This is where it involves hurting someone's reputation or public image So that is social bullying, which includes leaving someone out of a group of friends, as I mentioned earlier, on purpose in order for them to feel isolated, telling other kids of people not to be friends with someone else, which is also a form of exclusion, spreading rumors or embarrassing information about someone, embarrassing someone in public. So doing something on purpose that you know will cause this person to be embarrassed. So for example, I've seen this common behavior in school where the other kids would just maybe flip a girl's skirt and their underwear shows, or in a case where they would pull the chair as you're about to sit down and then you fall on the ground. So those type of aggressive, unwanted behavior. The third one is physical bullying. Physical bullying involves hurting a person's body or possession. This includes hitting someone, kicking, pinching, or tripping someone or pushing them so that they fall, spitting on someone, taking or breaking someone's belongings, making mean or rude hand gestures, so maybe swearing at the person using your hands, basically, hand signals, yeah. And then the fourth one that I added is cyberbullying, which is something that I feel that most parents are not clued up about it yet. Yes, there might be a group of parents, a small percentage of parents that are aware of this, but it hasn't gotten, I think, the recognition that it needs in terms of being able to help the kid knowing even what signs to look for when a child is being bullied on the internet, because cyberbullying is basically online harassment. So using platforms like Facebook, social media platforms, Instagram or Twitter, or other forms of social media platforms. This includes hate messages or threats, impersonation, and other digital abuse. So the impersonation one and the threat messages are the common ones in cyberbullying. So those parents need to be aware of it, which is why it's important as a parent to monitor your child if they are on social media, especially if they are still at a young age. So possibly be the one who monitors, constantly check their pages, the messages they receive, the messages they send, because we shouldn't only look at this in one perspective where it's your child that's being bullied. What if your child is the bully? So in those instances, you also need to nip that in the bud if you notice the behavior soon enough. So you need to be an involved parent, an involved sister, an involved brother, an involved family member, because it doesn't just lie on parents. As family members who are old enough to know the difference between right and wrong, we should be there to help stop this behavior in society. So where and when bullying happens? Bullying occurs during school hours. It can occur at the office for those who are working, who are adults working. It can occur anywhere in church. It can occur in the playground. While most reported bullying happens in school buildings, a significant percentage of bullying also happens in places like playgrounds or bus stops, when children are using school transport to and from school. Bullying can happen in such areas as well, or in such places. It can also happen traveling to and from school in youth's neighborhood or on the internet, which is known as cyberbullying, as we mentioned earlier on. So what signs can we look out for, or what signs should parents look out for in a child who is being bullied, or if you are suspecting that the child is being bullied? Bullying has signs that it causes the child or person being bullied to exhibit, and parents should look out for these signs, especially in children. And before I get into these signs, I just want to say that to every parent out there, if you didn't notice these signs, or you did noticed some of them, but you didn't really do anything about it. You just thought it's something that's gonna pass. It's not your fault. The most important thing when you learn about something is to have a learning attitude and willingness to make change. So whatever that you will have learned from this episode, I want you to take it to heart and just have a learning attitude and willingness of changing behavior. Show more interest in your child, show interest to help, be willing to help, and also learn from your child. Your child may be younger than you obviously, but you can learn a couple of things from your child. So for example, you sit down and talk with them and have a conversation, come up to a point of understanding with your child, understand what goes on in school, so open lines of communication with your child. That will help you to also notice these signs that we are about to talk about. Alright, so signs to look out for as a parent or a guardian in a person or a child who is being bullied. As I said, we are mostly focusing on children, but you can use this information to help someone who might not necessarily be a child, because bullying happens in all parts of society. So it could be an adult suffering from being bullied. These still apply. So firstly, if your child always comes home or frequently comes home with torn clothes, damaged belongings, so they're always losing their crayons, they're always losing their books, coming home with torn clothes, torn books, pages are missing, they're always losing their textbooks, that is one of the signs. The signs are in no particular order, by the way. If the child has unexplained bruises, cuts and scratches, they always give you lousy excuses of how they got the bruises, or sometimes they can't even explain. That should be a red flag. If your child all of a sudden has few friends, and maybe they used to have a group of friends and all of a sudden they are a loner, and you don't know your child to be a loner, that is another sign to look out for. If your child seems afraid to go to school in the morning, they never look forward. I mean, like, nobody really looks forward to, a huge percentage of us never really look forward to waking up in the morning. But when someone is facing something like being bullied at school, it will be different, because it will be a struggle every day, and they will do their level best to come up with excuses not to go to school. So you should take recognition of that as well and try and find out why. If your child makes up excuses why they can't go to school, they take long ways of going to school. So if your child walks, they will unnecessarily take a long route to school, mostly appear sad, moody, teary or depressed when he or she is home. A frequent excuse or a common excuse amongst kids is having a tummy ache or a headache in the morning when they have to go to school, has trouble sleeping, or mostly has nightmares. That is a very big red flag. If your child is frequently having nightmares and bad dreams, that is another red flag. If they experience a loss in appetite, or all of a sudden they are eating too much, excessive eating, appears anxious and has low self-esteem. So those are some of the things to look out for. If your child just cries out of the blue for no reason, no explanation, they don't want to talk, they like to avoid people most of the time and want to be alone, they are obsessed or withdrawn from technology devices, so either they stay too much with their phones or computers, or they just withdraw totally from being active in terms of communicating with other people. If their grades at school are declining, lack of interest in schoolwork, self-destructive behavior, so where they do things on purpose that they know will hurt them either physically or it's sabotaging themselves mentally. those type of behaviors. And the last one that I have is wetting the bed at an older age than 5 or 6 years. So a child is not supposed to wet the bed after 6 years, max 6 years. After 5 or 6 years, they're not supposed to wet the bed. It means that you should be concerned if that is still happening. So try and take your child to a psychologist, a doctor, or a psychologist, and try and find out what is wrong. Preferably start by checking with the GP. Then the GP can refer you to a psychologist if it seems like it's a deeper issue that's causing the child to still be wetting their bed, because you could find that a child is maybe being sexually abused or physically abused in some way, like being hit by other kids at school, which causes the nightmares that we spoke about earlier on, which can now, since maybe it's been happening for a while, it's affecting them psychologically, which causes them to wet their bed after the age of 6, which is not supposed to happen. And something that I want us all to note is that kids who are disabled are more prone to being bullied than any other normal kid. So if you are blessed with a disabled child, take care of them. Be more vigilant as a parent or a guardian. Communicate with them more so that they feel comfortable to come to you if there is something they are going through or someone who is not treating them right. So the signs that we've talked about are also signs that are forms of abuse as well, which is, if your child displays any of these signs, talk with them and talk with the school. Go to the school and try and talk with the teachers, the staff of the school, and learn more about what is going on, because teachers know more about your child than you, because they spend more hours with the child while you are at work or you are at home and the child is at school. And when you go to the school, show up with a polite attitude. Don't go there all angry as a parent, because no one will be willing to help you out. So when you notice these signs in your child, it's best to try and open up lines of communication if you hadn't already. So when you end up now going to the school to talk to the teachers and the staff of the school about your child, it's best to find out from the teachers how your child is doing in school in general. So academically and otherwise, meaning their behavior in class, how they behave around other kids. Are they an active child? Are they keeping to themselves? With whom do they spend most time with in school? Have they noticed any suspicious behavior in the child where it would give the impression that the child is being bullied by one kid in school or other kids in school? And if you do find out that your child is being bullied, then ask the teachers or the school staff for help, because they know better, and I think that in most schools, or in all schools actually, it should be there ways of helping a child deal with trauma. So which is why it's important for schools or workplaces to have like psychologists and people that can help you deal with trauma or psychological problems that you could get from being in that place and experiencing something while you're in that space. Then after, I think it's important for you to look for ways to help your child recover. So you do this by going to a doctor, to check if your child was physically being hurt, and from there you move on to a psychologist and try and get them mental help, psychological help from a psychologist, and ask people, be involved in your child's life and ask for information from people who are close with the child, because you might find that your child is not comfortable to talk to you or with talking to you, and has someone that you've noticed that, okay, they are much closer with this person, maybe with their uncle or with their aunt, or with a particular cousin or someone in society or at school. So try and gather information from that person, so you can also try and open lines of communication with your child, and you can try and see a way forward. That is all that I have for today. I do hope that the information that was given out today on this episode will help someone out there. If you have an experience with bullying, or you know someone who has, please do hit us up on our comment section and let us know your story, or if you have a comment regarding the topic, you can let me know in the comment section. Please do like the video and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you and your support that you've given me so far. I will see you next time. Goodbye and God bless.